This begins Act 5, Scene 1, line 30, and Worcester is explaining the grievances that he has with King Henry again in front of Henry and Hal as well. It pleased your majesty to turn your looks of favour from myself and all our house. So he's saying that you basically turned your back on us. And yet I must remember you, my lord. We were the first and dearest of your friends. For you, my staff of office did I break in Richard's time, and posted day and night to meet you on the way, and kiss your hand, when yet you were in place and in account, nothing so strong and fortunate as I. It was myself, my brother and his son, that brought you home, and boldly did outdare the dangers of the time. You swore to us, and you did swear that oath at Doncaster, that you did nothing purpose against the state, nor claim no further than your new fallen right, the seat of Gaunt, Dukedom of Lancaster. So here he's saying that our family took you in, we believed you, and you told us that you have only accepted the Dukedom of Lancaster, which was your right. You haven't gone any further and plotted against and killed the king. To this we swore our aid, but in short space it rained down fortune, showering on your head, and such a flood of greatness fell on you. What with our help, what with the absent king, what with the injuries of wanton time, the seeming sufferances that you had borne, and the contrarious winds that held the king so long in his unlucky Irish wars, that all in England did repute him dead. So notice here that there's the repetition of what with our help, what with the injuries. So the repetition there really reinforces that Henry has taken opportunity of the king being caught in Ireland for longer than he need be, and that he used his supporters and took advantage of them for his own purpose, and that is to progress his plight to become king. And from this swarm of fair advantages you took occasion to be quickly wooed to gripe the general sway into your hand. Forget your oath to us at Doncaster, and being fed by us, you used us so as the ungentle Hull, the cuckoo's bird, how the cuckoo's bird useth the sparrow, did oppress our nest, grew by feeding to so great a bulk, that even our love durst not come near your sight, for fear of swallowing. So here he's saying you used us just like the cuckoo bird does. And the cuckoo bird will lay its eggs in a smaller bird's nest, and when the cuckoos hatch, they push the smaller eggs out of the nest and then grow strong. And so he's using this nice comparison here. And there's a number of metaphors that run through this little section here, and they're good to look at. And anyway, the idea that's being presented here is the sheer disdain and anger that they have for Henry, because he used them, took advantage of them, and then discarded them when it suited him. Once he got what he wanted and gained that power and he didn't need them anymore, he discarded them, and that's why they're rebelling against him. So, and that really reinforces this notion of governance and morality and all those sort of things, loyalty and honour that are evident in the play. So that even our love does not compare your sight for fear of swallowing. We had to get out of your way or you would swallow us up. But with nimble wing we were enforced for safety's sake to fly out of sight and raise this present head, whereby we stand opposed by such means as yourself have forged against yourself, by unkind usage, dangerous countenance, and violation of all faith and troth sworn to us in your younger enterprise. So it's really interesting the use of you and we. It really highlights the oppositional sort of forces in this conflict, that there is no in between. It's the plight between good and evil, what's right and wrong, and honour and treachery. Henry responds, "These things indeed you have articulate, proclaimed at market crosses, read in churches, to face the garment of rebellion with some fine colour that may please the eye of fickle changelings and poor discontents." So he's saying there, you've told this story everywhere to gain support, which gape and rub at the elbow at the news of hurly-burly innovation. And never yet did insurrection want such watercolours to inpaint his cause, nor moody beggars starving for a time of pell-mell havoc and confusion. So he's saying here the term innovation is about revolution. It's the definition of revolution in Elizabethan English. And so he's saying you've used all these stories to colour your plot. And he's saying here that they're watercolours. So they look good, but they will wash away, and people will quickly tire of them. Prince Henry then states, that's Hal, "In both your armies there is many a soul shall pay full dearly for this encounter, if once they join in trial." So there's going to be a lot of bloodshed, a lot of loss if there's a battle. "Tell your nephew, Hotspur, the Prince of Wales doth join with all the world in praise of Henry Percy. By my hopes, this present enterprise set off his head, I do not think a braver gentleman, more active valiant, more valiant young, more daring or more bold, is now alive to grace the latter age with noble deeds. For my part, I may speak it to my shame, I have a truant been to chivalry, and so I hear he doth account me too, yet this before my father's majesty. I am content that he shall take the odds of this great name and estimation, and will, to save the blood on either side, try fortune with him in a single fight." Now Hal takes the high moral ground here, and he says that Hotspur, "I do not think a braver gentleman, a more active valiant, a more valiant young, more daring or more bold." So here he's recognising Hotspur for his good name and for the deeds that he does, and you could say he's using this as a means to draw him to battle, but I think he's being legitimate in what he's saying. When we compare how Hal speaks of people to how Henry speaks of people, Henry's a lot more negative and suspicious, and it reflects his personality and his character. Whereas Hal is whilst he has been a truant to chivalry, so he's used this metaphor here, because he has been neglecting his duties. He appears to be a lazy good for nothing, but in reality he is noble and honourable. And what he says this before the king, "I am content that he shall take the odds of his great name and estimation." He's saying there, Hotspur will take that gamble. He'll gamble on his skill as a soldier and his good name, and to save the blood on either side, Hal challenges Hotspur to a one-on-one fight for the outcome.